Hi everybody, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I'm excited to show you this new mini album, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So this is using the Doodlebugs Seaside Summer Collection, which is perfect for this time of year. I used most of what came in the collection kit. I mean, there's really only a few larger pieces. There's a lot of the border strips and a lot of small little pieces. I will probably figure out a way of using that all up pretty soon because I don't like having uncompleted collections in my stash. But let me show you in the meantime this mini album. So you may have seen some other ones on my page, on my channel. It is made using the cinch. I might try to figure out a way of doing it without the cinch if time allows. So it's 6 1/4 by 7 with a 2-inch spine. So it's got a mini album cover, and then I'll show you what's inside. I did take a 4x4 journaling card, layer it on white and on some teal cardstock in my stash. I have a little flamingo there, and I took one of the border strips that said Summer Fun. This is a very simple cover. It's pretty flat. Now you open it up, and inside, so here is the fun part of the mini album. It's actually 2 mini albums in one. We've got this portion, which is a top bound cinch album, and this one is a side bound cinch album. So let me take you inside this and tell you all about it. First of all, the measurements. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I guess I could have made it 4 1/4 by 6 1/2 if I had made the book bigger, but the beauty of this page was using 12 by 12 paper, and it was, you fold all 4 pieces or 3 pieces, because this actually got pretty chunky, one way, and then you put it all together. So I wanted to keep it fairly small. So anyhow, on the front of this, I do have a piece of acetate. It came from the Easter collection, but it's the Doodlebug colors. It's polka dot acetate, and it went really well with this collection. On the front of the acetate, I put this from the sticker collection, and then layered up hibiscus, which was from the odds and ends. I do have 2 magnets in this little flap to keep it all together. There still is a lot of room, so when you put pictures in, you'll be fine. So I'll open this up. It goes like this. Again, there's 2 magnets here, and then this goes like this. So you don't see all of the bottom of the sticker. I did layer a couple of elements. This was from the odds and ends. It just was a circle with a scallop circle inside, and then I punched a 2-inch punch and then added another sticker inside. This has popped up a little to give it some dimension. So inside, I've got this 4x3 cut apart on a 4 1/4 by 3 and 4 1/4 by 6 1/2 paper, because this does, no, I'm sorry, it's 8 1/2 by 3 1/4. I forgot which way it went. So I added a couple of little fishies and a little fish down here. There's a magnet inside underneath this cut apart and underneath here. I also supplemented the collection with some petite prints and some of the dot pattern paper. I don't know what you would call it, just the polka dot paper that coordinates. Just, otherwise I don't think I would have had enough paper. So this will come up like this. This was from the odds and ends. You could just use a square photo mat if you don't have that. And then these, so I made this over Memorial Day weekend. Lori Whitlock had a sale going on her site, so I purchased this crab and I printed it out, and then I took my, what the heck do you call this stuff? Oh, glossy accents, and made the eyeballs. You really can't see it, but I made the eyeballs of the crab dimensional with the glossy accents. There's a little seagull here, And yeah, there's that. So here I used some cardstock, layered up a bunch of things. I left this print so you could see it. I just thought it was a lot of fun with the little bird prints and the seaweed, but it's still open. Let me grab a piece of paper. So you could still put a photo in here. So this photo mat actually is 3¼ by 3¾ So you could put a cut down photo that says palm trees and ocean breeze. So here I made a belly band, put a couple of elements that's just a cut apart, and that's one of the lists that, you know, you get that page with Doodlebug. So that will go into this. You can add a photo in there too, there's room. And then on the bottom of this page, I've got just this piece of patterned paper. I think it was the back of the flowers, not this one, but there was another flower one. And I just thought it was good and to make a nice place. In the odds and ends was this little piece. I guess it's supposed to be a clipboard, but you know, I put on a fish and a starfish and a shark. So you know what that is? A charcuterie board. So yeah, I'm here all day. I just put a tag in here. I left that open on the side. Okay, here I just made a little flap, put a cut apart on the front. This will open up. There is another one of those flamingos. Here's the back side of that. And then I just took just one of the scraps and added the word happy and just made a little tuck spot for that. I have to tuck that ribbon in a little. On the bottom here, this is just a regular mat, but I left this part open. I loved the flamingo border strip, so I left that open. And there is a sticker and a little fish. Can't you imagine how many little photos you can get on here? So here's that beautiful flower paper. These hibiscus were from the odds and ends. That was from the odds and ends too, so I just added it there. There's just a little strip of the diagonal paper. I forget where that was from, but I put it on some white cardstock and added these flowers onto a circle from the odds and ends, just so it made a nice little tuck spot. Have a wonderful day. It was a cut apart. I just put it on some white paper, added just a touch here so you could put your photo on there. I didn't even use a magnet for that, and it's fine. So then on the underside of the last page, I just took some of the border strip and made a little pocket, took a little cut apart in there. And then here, this is, I guess you would call it like a belly band, but it's to put this in. Now, I made a mistake when I made this because, of course, I made this not in the book. This does come out. I decorated the last page of this. I shouldn't have because it's going to be in here. But you know what? You could put a photo on there and it's sort of a hidden spot. For the back of this, I used the paper, the collection kit paper, you know, where it says what collection it's from. I just cut the top part of it out just because I knew that you generally are not going to see this part. So here's a 4x4 cut apart and just 1/4 inch by 4 inch strips just to, oops, that goes in there, just to take up space. There is one of the little cut aparts from the house, and so then this will close and that will go like that. Now you could, if you wanted to, go like that and have that up on the top. This is just pattern paper. I had from, I think, the Easter collection, a couple of enamel flowers. So there's 3 of them on there. I think, do they shine? I don't know. I don't think you can really see them, but it just added a little something. So now here is the 6x6 portion of the book. The front page is not a half page, 3/4 of a page, 2/3 of a page. I don't know. But anyhow, it's a 4x4 cut apart layered on a couple of colors of cardstock, a couple of enamel dots to go with the collection. I didn't want to put anything really dimensional on here because I have something dimensional on here, and I didn't want it to catch. So this is flat, but you know, it's fine. Um, and then inside we have flamingo paper, sunshine that says hello sunshine. We've got the sun with flamingos and some flowers, and I use some of those enamel flowers on here. It's a fairly wide pocket, and I was able to add all sorts of things in here. So here's another one of those lists. Here is a tag and just a fun let the summer begin that's open so you can still add your photo. Just a photo mat in there, and that all goes inside and makes a pretty assemblage. So here is a belly band with a don't worry, be happy. Inside this page are a couple of things. So I just took a 4x4 tag, put it in here. Here's a photo mat, and here's another photo mat. Now, I did not cover the backs of my photo mats. I just decided you'll put a photo on there. We don't want it to be too chunky to start with. So I just left it that way. So that'll go like that. And then fun in the sun goes like that. And then don't worry, be happy. So this is open so you can add a photo of everybody at the beach. This has a little tuck spot and a little photo mat there. It says sunshine, sunshine. So that'll go like that. On the other side is another umbrella. I guess when I was decorating, I didn't realize I used the umbrella here. But on this umbrella, there is a crabby. He's just deciding to take a little second out of the sun. This again is open so you can add a photo in there. This page, I've used 4 magnets, 2 on here, 2 on there. I love the sailboat. I have a little enamel fish jumping out of the water. And so this will open like that, and that'll give you a full spread so you can put your photo there. You could tuck a photo under here. You could, I'm telling you. And then that just gives you a little tuck spot. So that'll close, and that'll close. On this side, this is just a flap. It gives you room to journal or add a small photo. Sea and sand, sand and sea. And then here I just have a small little photo mat so you can add your photo. And there's a little tag here with squid. And here is our friend, the seagull. He must have been eating some seaweed because he had seaweed in his mouth. Another pocket. In this case, I just took the page, and well, I'll show you in the construction, but I just folded it down, took these hearts from the border strip, added a shark, and just, what is that, a pufferfish? And then added a couple of things in the pocket so you can add more photos and or more journaling. Ready-made photo mat, one of the palm trees, one of the stickers, and a little crabby. A hermit crab. I think he's carrying his house with us. This is You Shine Bright, just a little journaling card, and that is a little tuck spot with the house and the sunshine, because it's the beach. It's always sunny. Now, so this was sort of an afterthought. So on this page, it's 4 by 6 inches, and I took a 4-inch cut apart, cut it down slightly, and added it to here, and it was these beautiful flowers, and I layered some more flowers on top and made it a little tuck spot. But then on this side, I also layered some flowers. So again, when you have 2 pieces that are layered together, when you open and close the book, it might get messed up. So I took a piece of the acetate. I rounded the corners because, you know, this acetate can be sharp. I added just an element here that was from the odds and ends, and then on this side I put a sticker. But I put the piece of acetate there so these flowers and these flowers won't get hung up on each other. And then that gives you room to journal as well, and it's just a fun little element. Now, it was an afterthought, so the way I did it is I did punch it, and then I just cut just one little slit, and then it stays in. So sometimes you make mistakes, but if you figure out a way to combat that. So anyhow, so we've got this with the beautiful flower paper and some of the flowers from the odds and ends and a good size photo mat for the perfect day photo. Of course, this is open so you can tuck it in. Another Day in Paradise, that is from the sticker sheet. That is one of the Lori Whitlock cut-aparts, and so is the flamingo. So that's a pocket. There's a border strip and a little sticker, a border strip from the sticker sheet. So that is that. So the final page has just this icon sheet. It's on this diagonal stripe paper, and I just took a strip, 2 inches, maybe 2 1/4 of the flower paper, and just put it on there to break it up. I didn't want to put too much on here because it's the last page. So again, I did the same mistake on here. This one's harder to get out because I forgot about when I cut this pocket, I cut it to fit on, there's this polka dot paper. I should have cut it to fit on the white border. So this pocket needs to be 6 1/8 inches, and it's right at 6, so it made it tight. So I just trimmed this down. I did put a photo mat on here, but you don't want to use that photo mat. So I decorated this, put a sticker on here, and this is the back cover. Because really, in all likelihood, you are not going to take this out of here. Maybe you will when you're decorating it, but that's the only time. So then this will close like this. Oh, I was going to put a sticker or something on the back of here, so I still will. And then here is the spine. Just says memories and a seagull. And there we are. So to be honest, it's pretty simple to make. What takes time is decorating it, but to me that's the fun part, so I don't mind that. I enjoy that. I made this with 4 pages. Each one is a different color: yellow, coral, blue, and orange. I probably, in retrospect, would have made them with white, but you know what? I bet you didn't notice there were all these funky colors going through here. The pages are made, they start identical. You take a 12 by 12 piece of paper, score it twice. What you do with that makes it fun. So let me show you the tutorial, and you're going to be amazed at how easy that was. I saw this, Echo Park has free tutorials on their Echo Park website, so I saw this portion that somebody had done. So I took what she had done and sort of made it my own. And then I added this, and it just sort of snowballed from there. So let me show you how to make this real quick. All right, and we're starting with the cover. So you'll need 2 pieces of chipboard. You could use medium weight or heavy weight. I think the weight I'm using is the graphics chipboard, which is 0.057 inch thickness. So it's fairly sturdy. Now, I've already taken, the measurements. Oh, let's start with the measurements. So the spine piece is 2 inches by 6 1/4, and the covers are 7 inches by 6 1/4. I have added my 6-inch roll of double-sided adhesive. Here, this is a 2-inch roll. So I like this. I feel like it's very economical. And even though a roll of the 6-inch might be, I don't know, $30, I don't know how much it is these days. It'll last me almost a year. If you don't, and I make mini albums, I don't know, 6 out of 7 days a week. So anyhow, I think it's economical. To cover this, you'll need 2 pieces of 8 by 8 1/2. I am using 65-pound weight cardstock. I chose this yellow color. I decided to veer away from the black, and I didn't want to do white, so the cover is going to have a yellow base. And look at how pretty that yellow is with that yellow fish. You could go any color. You could go this light blue in here. You could do pink. You could do, if you were going to use the Seaside Summer. Lots of different choices. But I just was in a cheerful mood, so I am going with this bright yellow color. I already burnished this real well. I am going to take some glue. Really don't have to because it's in pretty good, but just to get it to fill in all the gaps. Do I want to go like that? No, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to put it down. It is not exactly an inch from the edge because this is 6 1/4 and that's 8 1/2. So it doesn't give you a full inch, but you know what? It's going to be good enough. And I'll burnish that, and then I'll do the same with this other one. Now, did I notice the bottom had some chipboard showing? I don't think I noticed if it did or not. If I didn't add this glue, it probably wouldn't make a hill of beans difference. A hill of beans. All right, I'm doing my best to put it on. This is the cover method designed by Tamara Merrill. It's my take on it. I've made so many alterations as I go. All right, here's a piece of cardstock that is 6 by 8 1/2. It could be 5 1/2. It could be 5 even, but I happen to do it 6. I know in the past I have used, I'm going to try to get that pretty even. Different devices to make sure it's straight, but I'm okay with just eyeballing it. It's going to be covered. You won't see that it's not straight. So just to find where the edge is, I am taking my bone folder and I'm burnishing along the edge. For all the pieces. And then I will use my surface and lay this down and burnish here. And do the same with the 2 other sides. And the reason I'm doing that, let's move the stuff out of the way, is because now you can see where the squares are on the corner, and I'm going to simply cut them. So I'm going to cut them at an angle. I'm going to go a little less than 1/8 of an inch to the right of that score line and going no further than where those score lines meet. So I'm just going to miter it as I go. I don't want a big miter. I just want a teeny tiny one. Alrighty, that's good. Now, if you want, you could use your double-sided permanent adhesive. I've seen people go around the perimeter of the chipboard and go around the perimeter of the cardstock. But I'm using my ATG. So yes, I know this is not permanent. It's not meant to be. What it's going to do is hold down the cardstock while the glue is drying. So now I'll take the glue and I will go right next to the chipboard. I think this does 2 things. I think it loosens the fiber in the paper. Well, yeah, it might be a little messy. But as well, it also helps the glue adhere on the very edge of the chipboard. And then I'll make sure I go around the perimeter and zigzag. Don't need too much. It's gonna stay down. All right, I'll take my bone folder now, and push this right up against it so it's at a right angle. You'll see that glue seeps out if there's too much in there, and that's where it's going to hold. And then I'll take my fingers and pull it down, going right up against that edge of the chipboard and burnishing. So because we put down that ATG, it's going to stick. Now, if you don't have ATG, you can use your double-sided 1/4 inch adhesive if you want, or you don't have to. A lot of times I don't. Depends on my mood. Okay, now I'm going to go against the chipboard. So I'll do one side and then the other. That gives it just a couple seconds extra to moisten the fibers. And zigzag here. Now if you're a slow crafter, just do one side at a time. All right, go right against the edge and burnish. Okay, and then what I'll do is take my bone folder and go along the edge here. So there we go. Beautiful, one cover. I'm going to do this one. And I'll go just a little bit faster. I am using 65-pound cardstock to cover it. You could use a little bit heavier if you wanted to. I just have always had luck. This is recollections. I've always had luck with it. Now they have changed the formula of some of the colors. The black sort of gives it that construction paper feel, which is probably another reason why I'm using this instead of the black. I'm just not happy with it. I got a couple of 8.5 by 11s that I wasn't happy with. But then again, the next batch I got was fine. So I don't know if it's when they did it. Maybe they switched to a different manufacturer for a time. I think the newer ones are the ones that are better, so maybe they switched back. I don't know. But this yellow, I couldn't tell you what yellow it is nice, and it's got the right weight to it. It doesn't bend. It's yellow all in between. It's not a white core. It's got the yellow. And it gives me good luck. Now I'm going to use a different paper for the pages in the book. But for this, it will work. Alrighty. And I'll burnish. I need to burnish that because there's a little bit of paper sticking up, like a little. When I mitered, I probably didn't miter that good. That's okay. We're good. Okay. We have the two covers done. Now the spine you do a little bit differently. So whoops. So don't rush ahead is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay. So now I am going to cut this off. Be very careful you don't cut off too much. I'm mitering just a smidgen. So that is my measurement, my technical measurement term of how much I am cutting over the score line. I am less than an eighth of an inch. If you want a measurement, actually it's about a 32nd of an inch. I think my smidgen is a 32nd of an inch. All right, so now we're leaving the wings, but we're going to fold down the top flap. I will add just a little bit of ATG. Can you see it? And I'll go ahead and add glue here around the perimeter and zigzag it. And then I'll take this, make it at a right angle, and burnish. Do the same with this side. I'm making sure I go around the perimeter here. I wasn't quite as careful when I did the cover, but I am here. And so now I'll take this and push it down. There's just a little bit, and push this down so it's right next to the spine. I'm cleaning off my bone folder because I can see that there's a little excess glue, and if I can help it, I don't want it all over the place. So now the little piece is right next to the spine. It's not covering it entirely, but it's okay. It'll be fine. Okay, now what I like to do is turn it upside down, take my bone folder, and push this paper. So it's sort of like a step where the cardstock covered chipboard piece, this piece, is higher up and this piece is down flat to the surface. And then once I do that, I'm going to take my glue and push it down in here in this crevice. Gonna get a good reasonable amount, not too much, just a little line of it. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and push this piece so it's at a right angle. And that is just going to stay just like that at a right angle. There is glue seeping out. I see it, but I'm going to leave it. Oops. So if this is like a little teepee for a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to put this on the table and burnish gently there and here. Okay, that's got to sit for a little while. Yeah, so just let that sit for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to just hold off till we do anything else till that glue is dry. It's been 5 minutes. I've refreshed my coffee. So I let this dry, and it's pretty dry. So I'm going to take it and turn it like this and burnish this, and just make sure that this side is stuck to the chipboard. I just think it helps give you a nice clean line to it. So now that that's straight, I'm going to grab a 1/4 inch of score tape. You could use wider if you want. I like to use the score tape in my mind. Now, I could be totally off base on this, but I feel like the score tape holds everything while the glue dries. The glue is really the permanent adhesive, but the score tape helps. So I'm going to add glue to this wing and here, and then I'm going to add a bead of glue close to that spine, but not on it. Okay, so I'm going to use my scoreboard to keep everything straight. I'm going to take this piece and go, let's use that word smidgen again, a smidgen away from the spine. You can see a little bit, 32nd of an inch if you want a measurement. Gonna burnish this. We'll burnish it again a little more, but I want these two pieces of chipboard to be on the same level. Now this one's a little tougher because you don't have as much runway to do it, but that's okay, it'll work. All right. And of course, the outside of the spine is showing. Any of the innards of the chipboard is underneath, the same as what your mini album cover is. Okay, so I'm going to go try to get about 1/8 of an inch away. So I'll put this here, but then I'll move this, slide it, and do the same with this. I want it to be a smidgen away. So it's got to be parallel. This piece has got to be parallel to that piece. Okay. Good. That is perfect. Alrighty. And I don't mind taking some time burnishing it here, because if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? All right, so now, beautiful, nice, clean, crisp lines. That's what I want. So now what I want to do is I have this piece of cardstock that's a smidgen less than 6 1/4 by 5. Just a little bit less, 6 1/4 by 5. Now, especially here, because we're not going to have a hinge on this inner piece, I am going to help adhere this by putting, I have a 1-inch piece. I don't want the well, it's not 1 inch, it's 3/4, it's 3/4 of an inch. I don't want to put the 2-inch piece on here. I'm actually leaving a little room so I can add a piece, some glue there, because I don't want to cover it completely with the double-sided adhesive. I want to also use some glue. So that's why I'm using the 3/4 inch. But you could use just a couple of lines of the 1/4 inch, or you don't have to use it at all. So now I'll go around the perimeter of the spine. I'm not going to go on that crevice between where the spine and the cover meet. Making sure I'm recording. And I'll go down the center here. And then I'll just add a little here and a little here. We'll go down here about 1/8 of an inch away. Oops. Okay, and then I'll go around the perimeter of this piece. Incidentally, I am using the Designer Dries Clear adhesive from the Art Institute glitter ink. I always call it the Art Glitter Institute. It's not. The Art Institute glitter ink. I'm going to put this down at the bottom, and we're good. And then I'll burnish. All right. I'm going to take my bone folder. Now this has sort of a rounded point, and I'm going to find where the cover ends and the spine begins. I'm going to burnish, and at the same time I'm going to move this up, and eventually I will fold it, and it is perfect. And I'll do the same with this. And there we go. All right, so there is the cover of our book. So this can sit for a while while we're going to work on the pages. You will need 4 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. You may need 3. I'll tell you about that in a second. All right, I have 4 pieces of 12 by 12 cardstock. You can use 3 pieces and make a smaller mini album. We're doing the back portion first. The portion that's going to sit on this page, because I like to do the bigger one first, see what's left over to do the smaller one. And if you saw the walkthrough, you know what I'm talking about. If you have smaller coils, or if you're going to use like planner binder rings, then do 3 pieces, and any 3. If you want those colors, you can use them. I'm going to do 4 just because there's more options for some different looks, so I can show you, and hopefully by the time I finish this I'll get in some binder rings. So these are all 12 by 12. I did not get the coordinating. Which one? One of these is Doodlebug. I don't know. One of these is a Doodlebug paper. Actually, I might not be using it in this one. Get the coordinating solids of Doodlebug and then you'll know it'll match. But I just grabbed ones from my stash. Most of this is basil cardstock. And this color is perfect with that little starfish. This yellow is perfect. The blue is pretty darn close. It's not exact, but it's close. And this melon color, this orange, is like it's perfect. It's a little darker actually, but you know what, it'll do because it's just the background. You're only going to see this on the edge. And this is easy to start with, what we're going to do with all 4 of these pieces. I'm going to take it and put it in our scoreboard. Let me get my scoring tool. I use a Cricut stylus. It's got a metal tip. You don't want to use the very tip. You might tear your paper, although this is thick, it probably won't. But I sort of more lay it on the edge. But I've used this for a while. I do need to get a new one because it's cracked, and I like this. It works. You could use this, but I find that you have to take a piece of sandpaper and sharpen this, because they do wear down a little, although this one's been perfect. I don't think I've had to do anything with it, but other ones have. All right, so anyhow, take one side, score it at 6, rotate it, score it at 6. Could that get any more difficult? No, I mean, it's pretty easy. So we'll do that with all 4 of our papers. Yes, you may see this. That's okay. You're not going to see it by the time we're done. Sometimes the companies use an adhesive, and that's why I try to take it off when I get this paper home. This one I don't think I got off quick enough. This one, when I was pulling it off, some of the paper tore, so it's got a white core. I take it and I try to take off this as quickly as I can and put it in my stash, so I don't know who the manufacturer is. I do so much mixing and matching. I will try to link what I think the colors are, or at least what will work, just so you've got that. Although if you can get Doodlebug, well, it's good. I'm going to take this and put it in my paper trimmer and trim up to that first 6-inch score line. And I don't go all the way because I'll take my scissors and go all the way. Now you could use scissors to do this. There, it's done. You could use an X-Acto. could use whatever you want, but I'm just putting it in my scoreboard because I know I'll get a straight line. And you want to cut it right at that score line. I went a little bit too much for that one, but you know what? No harm, no foul. Try to go a little less, and that way I can take my scissors and go and finish it. All right, let's take one, and we're going to do different things with the different papers. However, you could do the exact same style with all of them. So for the first one, the cover of the book, let's go ahead and fold and burnish. When you do, make sure you're matching up the ends. We'll do that while I'm talking. For the cover of the book, you might want to have just the full 6x6 cover showing. And when I say cover here, I mean the front of the 6-inch portion on the right-hand side. The front page is basically going to be a cover, so just keep that in mind. But it's not a cover in the true sense. It's not a chipboard cover. So when you do it, so we've got one flap, we've got this piece with the bottom fold here, this is open, and then we've got another flap. So all of them are going to have the center piece, there's two of them, with a bottom fold, because you'll have a pocket in the center. Now, if you want, you can glue this pocket, or you can leave it open. And then you've got different options on what to do with the flaps. The first thing we're going to do with this flap is we're going to score it. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to score it at 2. I'm going to fold it over. So what we have for page 1 is a 4x6 opening. The inside will have, so you can either have this as a flap or you can glue this down. So now you'll have a pocket. Now this piece we can cut down here. Let's do that. All right, so we're going to open this up. So remember, and if you want, you can write in pencil bottom fold line. This is the center bottom fold line. I'm going to open it up. Here's the center bottom fold. I'm going to rotate it. That's going to be the center fold. Here's the top of that piece. I'm going to score it at 2. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up to that score line. We'll fold it back, fold these back. Now we can fold this down. And so now we can glue this and you'll have a pocket and this will have a little flap. You could cut this off entirely if you want to. And to be honest, I think that's what I'm going to do. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. Just watch it a couple of times if you're not sure. So I'm going to put this in. And I'm going to cut that apart. Now, save this because you'll probably use it somewhere else. Okay, let's go back to our bottom fold, center piece, and there we go. So that's all I'm going to do with that one. I don't want to do too much. After we put paper in here, I'm going to glue this down so that'll make a pocket. I'm going to leave these plain. With this piece, when you're all done with it, you can take this and make it a pocket on the bottom, or here, or a side loading pocket, or put it there for the back. I'll just keep that together. Let's do another one. Wasn't that fun? Okay, so here we have this. I'm going to fold. So here's the opening. The opening's at the top. I'm going to fold here. When I fold it, I'm going to make sure I match up the edges and burnish. This one's a little thicker. So this is going to be the centerpiece. This will come this way. This will come that way. And what do I want to do with this? So we've got this piece, and I could even actually take this and put it on here if I wanted to. But I'll decide that as I'm decorating it. So the last one I had scored here. This one, I am going to score this at 2.5, so that will be actually 3.5 when we open it. I'm going to open this up, score it at 3.5, and I'm going to cut that. I just scored it just so I could keep it straight in my head. Okay, so that's 3.5. So we've got this piece. I'm probably going to glue the top, if I remember, and then this will be a hidden photo mat. I might put a little thumb notch there. And then for here, what I'm going to do here is score this, or just cut it at 3. I'm going to take this off at 3. I'm going to score it. I'll use my small trimmer here. Okay, of course we'll save that. We've got this piece, which is 3.5. Let's score this at a 1/2 inch. Going to miter the corners. Burnish. This one was heavy cardstock. I think this was 100-pound weight. Yeah, I should have saved the tag so I would know. I'm going to take this and add this. I have to get my pin. And I'm going to put this on the left side of this page. Because now we've got this piece. Cool, huh? All right, so that is number 2. All right, blue. I'm going to fold it this way. This is the fold line. I'm just going to use my scoreboard since it's out, just to make sure I get a nice straight fold. I'll be honest, this does not look perfect, but it's okay. So we have this with the bottom fold line, and then we have that. Let us, so what will we have? This will be opposite this piece. So I've got something going this way, so I don't want to have something going this way. So I'll just make this a pocket. Do I want 2 inches open at the top or 2 inches? You know what? This is what we'll do. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to score it at 2. Score it at 4. Cut down here. And then I'll fold this down. I'll probably round the corners, but all right, so that's, and then I'll glue this to this piece. So that's a pocket for there. Then we've got a hidden pocket here. And then we have this one. I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to score this at 2. And we'll have a little, either a flap or a hidden pocket there. But also, this is just a flap. Now, we could also glue this down at the top and the bottom and make that a pocket as well. See? So many options. It's the same thing. Basically we're scoring at 2, but the things that we're doing are making it a whole different page just by how you fold it and what you cut. All right, here's our fold line. So we've got this. All right, there's our fold line. This one's like this. And we've got that. What do I want to do with this? I think I'm going to leave this hole. Do I want to make another pocket? The back piece has to be flat. Don't do anything with the back piece. So what do I want to do with this? I'm getting the idea of cutting 4 by 6 off of it, and then I can add that to a flap. So we'll make that a pocket. 4 by 6. So I'm going to take this, score it at 4. I'm going to cut this big 4 by 6 piece off. I'm going to use my scissors for this. So that'll be a pocket. This might be a flap. And this is flat. I'm just going to leave this for now. I'll actually put it in the pocket. And that's it. That's all we need to do with our 4 pieces. So then we'll go ahead and decorate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is decorate the 6 by 6 part, but I'm just going to decorate the front one. To be honest, the measurements are going to be the same, and it just will be redundant if I just keep telling you the same measurements. Because you're either going to have a 4 by 6 inch piece, a 2 by 6 inch piece, a 6 by 6 inch piece, or occasionally a 3 by 6 inch piece. And the measurements are all going to be the same. I'm just going to go 1/8 of an inch less, so there will be a 1/16 of an inch border all around. So for instance, this piece, this is 4 by 6, so this is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. I took this from that one cut apart page and cut it down a little. I'm not even looking at what it says. I usually don't use these. I mean, if you're making cards with Doodlebug paper, I could see where it would come in handy, but I usually just make cards with what I have left. And there's also sentiments on the sticker sheet. So if you want to make cards with what's left, otherwise, cut it up before you start. Okay, so I'm putting that on as the base. And then I've also cut out 4 other pieces. So I like this as my introduction into the book, The Sweet Life. I just thought it was nice. I like the colors. That's cool. That's why I chose this page, because I liked the palm tree. But since it's like the introduction, I want it to pop, so I'm layering it a couple of times. So here, this is the 4x4 cut apart. I put this on a 4 1/8 by 4 1/8 piece of coordinating cardstock. I'm putting that on 4 1/2 by 4 1/2. There's a little bit of a bigger border here, and that's okay. You don't have to have the exact same border width all through the book. So just put it on so it's even. And there we go. Okay, so this is going to go here. I'm going to center it on that 6 by 6 inch page. So we're going to have a little bit left over, and that's why I cut this scrap. I'm just going to use this side showing. But before I put this down, I am going to put a magnet down. So I'm adding a piece of double-sided adhesive, peel off the backing, add my magnet. What size is this magnet, are you going to ask me? 5/16. And then I will glue on this scrap of paper. You could wait till the end and see what scraps you have left. I don't even know if this actually goes with the collection, but you know, with Doodlebug stuff, it all coordinates. So I'm putting that down and making sure that that magnet is adhered. Now that I've got that down, now I'm going to put that onto this, but I want to make sure that you don't see any of the green except for around the perimeter, and make sure it's square, which it will be. So I will add glue to here. Do I want to make it a tuck spot? I don't. I don't want a tuck spot there. It would change my vision. So you want at least it to be up to about there. I can feel that with my hand. It can be a little over because I want it to be centered on here. And by that means there's about 3/4 of an inch all around it. See, you don't see any of that. Now the thing is, I don't want to forget, I have a magnet there, and my way of figuring out where its corresponding magnet is going is add a dot of glue and then wipe it off. And I see where that dot of glue is. Oh, here. Peel off the backing, go like this, and the magnet will adhere. All right, let's continue over on this side. Well, actually, let's not. So, a little bit about how my head thinks. So I wanted some paper that you would see here peeking out. If it didn't coordinate, it's okay. It's all right. You could have had something to match with the pink and the sweet. That would have been nice too. But I chose something to match with the sun, just because I love the sun. So I have this piece. So again, this is a 4x6 piece. So this is 3 7/8 by 5 7/8. And I'm simply going to glue this on here. So you could have chosen this paper first and then something to go along with that. You know, I always sort of choose a focal point and then match what goes along with that. So I'll burnish that down. So now what that'll look like is the sun will shine through here, and here we've got the sun there. I like it. I like it. Now, I wanted to match this. I don't know that I had any solids except for my stash. I don't have any solids from the collection, but I'm okay with some pink because there's this pink here and there's pink on the blush of the sun. So I had this in the, I don't want to call it the solids, but yet it is. And I'm going to put that there. Now, do I need the whole? It's not 6 inches. It's 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. Do I need that whole piece there? I really don't, because it doesn't show, and we're going to glue this down. But I could. You know, I'm going to just cut it in half and or a little close to half. I'm going to cut it because I might be able to use it, and it'll help keep it so it's not so thick. So this will go here with about 1/8 of an inch all around it. Okay, now that I've got that down, I'm going to add a bead of glue. Oh, I'm sorry, it's hard to see, but over here. So if you put something in here in this pocket, because this is going to have my binding system on it. All right, so we're good with that. Now I'm going to put this pink in here. So yeah, it doesn't go all the way. This is 3 3/8. It was a scrap I had left. I could have used that other scrap I had, the 3-inch one, but I already had this cut. 3 3/8 by 5 7/8. That's going to go here. And then this time I'll do it so you can see it. I will add a bead of glue on the top and on the bottom. I try to go as close to the edge as I can, but it doesn't have to be exactly on the edge, because if you put it on the edge, it's going to seep out. Burnish. And I know I have something here. What do I have there? I'll have to figure out what I cut for that. But so far we're good. I had something to coordinate with this. I will find that in a second. In the meantime, I'm just sticking that in the pocket. Let's go over to here. All right, so I've already put this down. What was my inspiration? This was my inspiration piece. It's just fun, you know? I just like the bright colors. Did I cut a 4x4? I'll have to find that in a second. But, so this was my inspiration piece. I cut it down. I have a piece of coordinating cardstock that will go behind it. And then I wanted a belly band here, and I'll put a photo mat inside the belly band, something layered on white, probably a small pattern or just a solid. To make this belly band, I took a piece of 7 by, this was probably 3.5 inches, 7 by, it doesn't matter, 7 by 3.5. Scored it at both sides, 1/2 inch. So there's a score here and a score here. And then I had this piece that came from one of the border strips. So it already had that width. I'm getting my ruler so I can tell you what the width is. The width is about 5/8. So then I cut yellow about 1/8 of an inch bigger, and then the white is just at 1 inch. So 1x7, score both sides. I put that underneath this rainbow paper and then glued it all down. Sorry I didn't show you. I guess I was excited to see how it looked. And then on this side, I had the back of this boat paper is this. And because this was going that way, I wanted this to go this way. And then I also added a photo mat. So, oh, I didn't glue this down yet, did I? Nope. I generally tack it down with my ATG. Is that glued down? Yes, that is. Okay, so this is 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And as I said, I wanted the stripes on this to go up and down. I don't have any other things that I have to worry about here, so I'm going to glue that down with a border on all 4 sides. And then do I want that centered? I don't really want that centered. And I really don't usually use a white border that large. It's the back of that paper. So this is 4x4. So I'm going to cut this down. Actually, that's 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more. 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. How's that? It doesn't have to be square. You could do it this way and have some left on the bottom. But I'm not going to. But you can if you want. So I'm going to glue this on here first. Don't rush ahead because I'm going to do something a little different. That's better to me. I like a smaller border here. Now there are sometimes I will do a bigger one. And the reason it was bothering me is because the white was ending here at the white stripe, and I didn't like that. I want it to be up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to glue this down centered. I'm going to have it a little in my blue. Your colors might be a little different. That's okay. But I'm going to leave it open here because I might use that as a tuck spot. I am not sure yet, and if I decide not to, it's no big deal. But if I decide to, then it's all ready for me. So I'm going to glue 3 sides, and I'm about 1/2 inch from the top, and just try to keep it parallel with those other lines on here. And I'm going to sort of push here just ever so slightly so it's easy to put something in there. All right, so there's that. I have to work on that. And the back is just going to have this icon page cut 5, I know, isn't that gorgeous? 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. And I'm just going to glue it down right on here. And I am going to put a mat on here to coordinate with this page. But I just wanted to show you what the measurements were I'm going to work on this page and this one right now. Okay, so I told you we'd work on this. So I cut this piece with the flamingos. Now, I really didn't want to introduce the flamingos yet because I want them to have their own full page spread, although I don't know if I will. But the color was right. It's got the pink and it's got the yellow. So, and you're not going to see them all. They're sort of going to be in the background. So I am going to glue this onto this flap. And this, incidentally, is 5 7/8 tall by 1 7/8. I wasn't sure if this was 2 inches. So there's that. And then I probably am going to glue this here. I mean, you could go like that. But I'm not sure yet. So I'm just going to put it in the pocket until I get to decorating. I will do decorating, and then of course the walkthrough will show you how I did the decorating. Oh, but I wanted to go back to here, our little belly band. So we've got this guy. So he was a 4x3 cut apart. I cut it out along where this strip was, otherwise it was all white. So it made it 3 3/4 by 4 3/4. So this is 3x4. I just wanted to add some color. Yes, it's got a hole cut out of it, but you know what? You won't notice it. When you glue this down. See, you don't see it. Although I see it's a little off. This is 2. So it was off by maybe a 1/16 of an inch. And then I'm going to put this on the white background. Does it need it? It doesn't really need it. It's just there's so much white in here. I thought it would just help it blend together and coordinate. Now, I generally like a round circle for something there, but I didn't like anything I had. I didn't like any of the stickers. And I sort of like that being a focal point. Don't worry, be happy. Who remembers that song? I'm sure we all do. I'll just do my best to center this on here using the clues that I have. Make sure it's centered from side to side. And also I can use the lines to center it, to help make sure it's even. Okay. And then, like I said, I'll make a photo mat to go inside here. Probably something like a folder, because that way if you have photos on here, I like it to be a surprise, like you open it up and, oh, look at the photos, as opposed to, oh, I can see them, they're in the pool. I mean, it's okay if you have sort of a peek, but that's okay. So, you know, just some things. All right, so that is number 1. And like I said, I'll go ahead and do the rest of them and then show you at the end what I have made. All right, we've got the cover made. We've got the pages. I've already decorated them. I have not finished embellishing, but of course you'll see that all in the walkthrough. Now let's work on what's going to go inside. So on my prototype, I made a flip-up album, and again I'm using my cinch binding, but there will be a flip-up album that goes inside. I will put some kind of ephemera here or decoration or something. I've got a couple things in mind. I have to just make sure they'll fit. And then over here will be the album. So now this is 6 1/4, so I don't want any bigger than 6, including the wire. So what I'm going to do is cut the paper by 5 1/2. And then I want to be able to use 4x6 photos. Of course, you'll have to trim it down. So if we do 4x5 photos, that would work, but smaller would also work. So I'm going to go with 4¼ by 5½. And that's fabulous. Why is that fabulous? Because that is exactly 1/4 of a piece of 8½ by 11 cardstock. You'll cut it at 5½, and then at 4¼ and you can get 4 pieces out of it. I have already cut some. I was going to do yellow, but I have so much yellow going on, and I have all these different colors. So I've got pink and blue. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that, but I'm going to work with it to begin with, just because there's a lot of pink in here. It's a darker pink, but that's okay. This will work. And look, that blue works fabulously. So I'm going to go with that. Of course, I'm going to decorate with everything I have left, which isn't a heck of a lot. So I have cut 8 pieces. I'm going to go ahead and decorate the covers. I'll probably do something fairly plain on the inside. I will probably go to some of my petite prints. I'm not sure exactly which one I'm going to use. I don't know that. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use, but I'll go something like that on the inside because I still will embellish it. And the back cover, I'll do something. Oh, there's my cardstock. This is a heavier weight cardstock than what I cut. I might use this, but I love the beauty of the fact that you could get 4 of those out of one sheet of 8½ by 11 paper, but I digress. So anyhow, I'll go ahead and cover this, including the spine. I'll put something on the spine and decorate that too. And then I'll do the front cover. So let me show you. I've already done the front cover. I took white cardstock and cut it about 3/16 of an inch smaller than the cover. And then I cut this icon paper out. Then I cut this 4x4 cut apart and I layered it. So that's 4x4. This is 4¼ by 4¼ This is 4½ by 4½. This was from the border strip paper, and it's hard to tell, but I did cut that out and put it on 1/2 inch cardstock. That is the same width as that white paper. And so I still will embellish this, but that is it for the cover. It's fairly simple. Oh, I did leave this open at the top so I could put in something. I'm not sure what, but something. So now that that's done, I know I can use all the rest of the paper because I'm not going to put anything really fabulous here. If I had tons of paper, I would, but I don't. So I'm just going to, again, use some of the petite prints for the back cover. So I'm going to decorate, and then we will do a final walkthrough. For the back, so I cut white cardstock, again, 6 3/4 by 6, and then I cut this petite print in the turquoise, a little bit smaller, so that's 6 5/8 by 5 5/8. So I guess that's a little bit smaller than the other one. And then all I did is I cut it 1.5 inches. I flipped one so I had the white dots on top, and then I added this border strip just to separate it. I'll probably add an image here. Probably, maybe not. All right, so now we're to the inside. Our spine, don't forget, is 2 inches by 6 1/4. So to cover the spine, this is 1 7/8 by 6, and then the pattern paper is 5 7/8 by 1 1/4. And just any paper. If you wanted something a little plain. I wish in here there was like some of this blue with the dots, or just, I wish I had some plain blue cardstock to match. Then I'd put some fishies on here, but oh well, that's okay. All right, let's do the back cover because that's going to be a little easier. Okay, I'm going to recreate part of this tutorial on how to do this back cover. So the back cover has white cardstock, and then the petite print in turquoise. Is that turquoise or teal? I don't know. And then this belly band, which has the boats on it and a sticker. The belly band is to hold this this portion of the book in there. I made it too tight in my original tutorial, so I'm recreating it so you have the right measurements. So what it is a piece of cardstock, then a petite print, and then a belly band. So the cardstock is 6 7/8 by 6 1/8, 6 1/8 by 6 7/8. On top of that, you will put the petite print that is 6 inches by 6 3/4. I'm looking for my glue and it's right in front of me. So I'm going to glue the petite print, and you could use other print, but most of this is not going to be seen. So we'll glue this down. Okay. Then this piece is 7 1/8 by 5. We're going to take our scoreboard and we're going to score it 1/2 inch. I'm going to rotate it so that 7 1/8 side is at the top again and score it 1/2 inch. You don't need to miter because you're not going to see this. All right, I'm going to fold and burnish on those score lines. And then I'm going to put that with about 1/2 inch showing on the right hand side. I'm going to turn it over and add my glue. And then we're going to glue that down to here. I mean, do a better job of gluing it than I'm doing. I'm just trying to have this go a little faster. And then glue your other pattern paper on top of that belly band. And then you can decorate that. And then your book. So the one that's on the right-hand side. And don't forget, you want to leave your last page not decorated. I mean, I would add some pattern paper to it, but you don't need to decorate it. And you don't need to decorate the back. But then that will easily slip in and stay. It'll stay nice and sturdy. So that is the correct measurement on how to do the back page. Now let's do the front page, inside cover. Now let's work on the other side. So I've already added this paper to this. Now this is 6 7/8 by 6 1/8. But this is 1 7/8 by 6. So I already put that down. I've got this piece, which is 4 3/4 by 5 7/8. I'm not going to put that down yet until I get the insert. So this is 5 3/4 by 4 1/4 with the 5 3/4 side at the top. Score it half. Score it half. So will this fit? Yep. All right, so this is going to go again about 1/4 inch from the bottom to allow for us to put the mini album in. I'll go ahead and glue that and burnish. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm a little off screen. Okay, So now I can put a cut apart on here, or you could just fill it with paper. If I'm going to do a cut apart, I need, so the cut apart's going to be a little bit too big, so I'll need something about a little less than half of an inch on the side. Let's see, what do I got to work with? It's yellow. I've got yellow. Yeah, that'll be okay. So I'm looking at that, how much is actually showing. I say half an inch. Really, if I cut just about a quarter. And will that work? Yeah, that'll be fine. By 4. Hopefully this piece was big enough. I was taking a chance. And it was big enough. So I will put one of these down. Is it a quarter? It's just about a quarter of an inch, maybe a teeny bit bigger. I'll put that down on the left side, and then the cut apart. And honestly, the only reason I'm using the cut apart is because I had it left over, and I was looking for a space to use it. So here we go. All right, so now I will glue that onto our white cardstock. Okay. And then I can glue that onto our base. There. All right, so we've got the cover all done. Oh, so for the for this piece, I put just a piece of plain paper. It's sand color. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. Put some crabs and seagull. I'm not sure exactly what, but I just thought that was cute. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna get my cinch, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I know you may not have one, but I will show you how I do it. Okay, so for the book that's going to have the spiral rings on the top, I'm going to do 7 rings. I could have done 6, but I cut off 7. So, oh no, that's 8. Wait, is this the right one? Well, we're going to do 7. I'm going to cut 1 ring off. I use my wire trimmers. If I have 2 or 3 rings, I save them, because you can still put like 2 and 2 on smaller books, but 1 ring I will toss. Okay, so I have 7 rings. I'm going to put it here just to keep it there. So all of my pages are 4 1/4 wide. So that means the center point is 2 1/8. Since I have 7 rings, the center point is number 4. Now I know you can't see the numbers, but believe me. So I'm taking my ruler and making sure the center of number 4 is at 2 1/8, which it is. So now that I know that is, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do one at a time here because some are thick. Make sure it's all the way to the back of your cinch. And there we go. There's my holes. Okay, I'm going to turn it upside down and put it over there. Now, what I already have done is gone through making sure that the top portion where the coils are going to be, everything is facing the right direction. I also took out any cut aparts that may move, and I don't want them to have holes in them. So I will go ahead and do that. I'm checking it as I go. Now, I have not finished decorating it. I basically do it in layers. I go through and I put in some photo mats, I put in some border strips or whatever I feel like. And I do that all through both this layout and the 6x6 one. Then I'll go through, see, here's a cut apart. I'm going to take it out so we don't make a hole in it. And then I can put it back in. And then I go through and decorate a little bit more, adding some of the odds and ends, and then I go through and decorate a little more. Then I'll go through and maybe put on the enamel dots. Okay, so normally when you're binding with a cinch, you will take the inside pages, then the cover, and then the back cover. When I'm doing it for this design, because I want it to lay flat, I'm not doing it that way. I am just doing it in the order that I want it to go. So the back page first, and then continue on. Okay, now I'll take this and put the wires so the opening is straight up and down, or as straight as possible. Then I take that opening and put it against here and go ahead and smush. And it comes out right first time, every time. So there is that. Okay, then I'm going to get set up to do the 6x6 pages. All right, so I did the same thing for my 4 pages. I made sure that there were no cut aparts in there that are going to move and get holes in them. I'm having 9 rings, so I measured it at 6 inches. The center point of that will be in the center of the 5-inch mark, so I made sure 3 inches from here is the center of the 5-inch hole. Okay, I know there's other ways of doing it, and you guys might be saying, no, 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 you're doing it all wrong. Okay, it works for me. Let me just say that. It works for me. And actually, I didn't take the cut aparts out of page 1, so I just did. All right, so now I'm going to make holes. That's the scariest part. You spend all this. It shakes the whole RV. You spend all this time doing it, and then it's like, oh my gosh. Am I doing it right? Let's take that out. I will take these out. That's in there. I should have moved this over to the other side when I designed it, but I didn't. Okay. Cute, cute, cute. Tell you what, I enjoyed this paper. Of course, how could you not enjoy Doodlebug paper? I mean, almost everything's smiling. Even the shark. Even the shark is smiling, sort of. With his teeth, but nonetheless. This one got me confused. I almost decorated this wrong, but I didn't. And again, we'll do a walkthrough. Now, there should be another video with a walkthrough, which you may have seen, but there will be a walkthrough. All right, so my coils are here. So I'll start with the back page. put that down, put that down, put that down, and there we go. I like this yellow with it. It's almost a yellowish green, so it works really well. All right, so there is that. Close this up, put it away, and then I'll grab the book. And before I do that, because I probably won't show you this, so for the very back cover, I took the paper from the collection kit and cut it apart. The top part had about 6 inches. I cut it down a little bit and then took one strip. So I just covered it with that just so it has something on it. But in 99% of the time, you're not going to see the back, but at least it has something on it. So this is going to go ever so slightly into here. So I'm going to struggle with this for a little bit. And actually, as I do it, I realize I should have probably made it bigger, 6 inches. So I'm going to have to trim this page down a little. Oh well, live and learn. This one should fit a little better. So I'm opening that up. I did the same thing here. So anyhow, I'm going to put that in. See, this one fits in so much easier. Oh, and I realized I decorated that page and I really didn't need to. Oh well. So that'll fit in like that. And then there we go. So I'll turn the coils like that. And that'll fit like that. And I'll put this one in. I'm going to add this over to there just so it decorates. I'm going to see if I can find a sunshine to put here. And that will be that. So I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else you're going to ask me about on how to make this. I will be doing other ones because it was so much fun to do, and I like the idea of having different sizes that we can have fun with our photos on. So that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you do. Now again, I know not everyone has a cinch. If you want to do this without a cinch, let me know. I'll see if I can come up with something. But that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and have a fabulous day.